If there's any snitches in the group, we kill the snitches and they fire shots out of a gun.
April 21, 2017. A group of men stand in a remote...
It was nighttime and I am blindfolded. I've been instructed to place my right in front of me in line because that signifies brotherhood.
The Brotherhood is the Ku Klux Klan, this white supremacist hate group. This is one of their ceremonies. What they don't know, agent, and he's no lightweight, 6'4", 260 pounds, covered in tattoos, Nebraska. He's gone undercover as a contract killer, a contraband smuggler, an arms dealer. From drug dealers to violent motorcycle gangs to pedophiles. He's befriended and brought down biker gangs and neo-Nazi murders and the overall downfall of society.
And when he was saying we're going on a camping trip, what he was saying is screaming death to your, F your Jewish God, death to America. And then somebody in the group, we kill the snitches and they fire shots out of a gun. Boom, boom.
We drove all and he told us everything. This is the story of Scott Payne, the redneck turned FBI agent who infiltrated the majority in podcast. Find links in the description.
It was a watery image. It was completely red. And there was a demon, a ripple image with a grin and long crooked finger looking at me saying, come here.
Scott is 14 years old and he's just seen a demon. The year before, his parents divorced and Scott went in spirits, watching diabolical horror movies, satanic rituals, deals with the devil. That's what spending the night. They've had a small amount of alcohol, but no drugs, no hallucinogens.
I would do like I was being possessed by a demon or I was the devil or whatever. I was on the couch where somebody is like being possessed by a demon. And so I'm fighting in my voice battle. And at the end, the demon wins and possesses the person. So that's what I act like happened. And I rolled over.
It all started as a mock demonic possession, but then this was his breaking point.
So let's just say after the demon scare, I got Jesus scared back. The devil was done with me, but I was done with him.
Night 2019. This is Scott on his final major undercover mission. And this is a goat of a pagan ritual. It's been nearly 35 years since Scott's first encounter with the devil, and he's definitely not done with Scott.
Now we're all in a circle around the goat. Somehow I ended up at the back part, I guess, but I'm holding the legs of the goat. He's got this blade and he's swing, practice swing, practice swing. And finally somebody says, just do it. Eisen comes down with every bit of hits the back strap of the goat, and I don't even know if it broke a hair. I don't know if it's because the back strap's too thick. He hit it and all you heard the goat was just go bah, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna get bloody and bad real.
Again, nothing. Finally, the blade is replaced with a gun.
I said, whoa, like what? I'm like, man, look at what you're shooting at. We're all in a circle around this thing and found right in the head of the goat and it hits the ground. Oh, you're not done. Now they slice the throat of the goat and they fill up a cup full of
LSD. He approaches each man one by one.
Basically, they would take the hit of acid under their tongue to signify the sacrifice or solidify the sacrifice.
Scott is one of the few
around to me at the end. I'm looking at the blood and it's already coagulated. It's all chunk. I really don't want to turn this up and drink it. I mean, this is disgusting. So I dip my fingers deep into the blood, all the blood off my fingers.
This is not the Ku Klux Klan. This group is younger, better equipped, and only animal blood, but the blood of any human who isn't one of them. Jewish and black Americans, and anyone, they're by far the most dangerous group Scott will ever infiltrate. Unfortunately for these tripping blood-drinking white supremacists, it's exactly the kind of thing he spent the last 17 years working to prevent.
I became an FBI agent in 1998 and by 2 covers for the FBI, but I wasn't yet certified through the FBI undercover school.
September 2002, Quantico, Virginia. This is the FBI Academy. If you pass the physical and psychological assessments, the tests, the polygraphs, the interviews, the background checks, in a 20-week training program. If you get through the 20 weeks, you become an FBI agent. Scott's been here about to start the training program for undercover agents. Getting admission to the program is hard enough. Graduating, but he's make it through.
It's a 2-week school with no days off. We're very big on sleep deprivation, scenarios of all shapes and sizes. And there's only 20 slots.
They make missteps during the high-pressure scenarios. They grow delirious and erratic from the lack of sleep. Sleep deprivation, the relentless roleplay, the grueling exercise. If anything, he feeds on it. Legendary FBI agents like Joe Pistone, who spent 6 years undercover with the Bun on No Crime family.
I remember Joe Pistone coming to speak, and I was like a kid in the candy store, man. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Donnie Brasco, the mafia. And he's teaching, but he has this thing where he keeps kind of wanting to, he kept stepping on my feet. And, I was trying to get out as he's teaching. He just looks down at me and he saes, Jesus, kid, either you got the biggest feet I've ever seen, or I can't see. That's because he's like still in mafia mode. He throws a couple, he goes, hey, go get yourself a shine on me. And under the seat, man.
Joe Pistone may have scuffed up Scott's shoes, when neither of them could have known at the time. The FBI Academy trains agents to take down bad actors. More and more of these criminals opt to be thieves, fraudsters, the list goes on. Such criminals rely on your personal data, your name, your phones, even health-related information. Most people aren't aware that their data has already been exposed and is actively being sold. Help solve this problem. Incogni scours hundreds of data brokers and then leverages data protection laws. With their unlimited plan, Incogni even offers custom removals. If you find your personal data exposed on eligible web, your team will request its removal. It may be impossible to entirely disappear from the internet, but Incogni can help you become. Incogni is offering Fern viewers 60% off with the code FERNTV. Just scan this QR code or go to incogni.com. No tool can guarantee 100% removal, so be careful with what you share online.
Certified as an undercover in the FBI. If you're looking on paper, I really didn't jump out.
Scott doesn't have a fancy degree. His nickname is Big Country, for obvious reasons. So he begins to work as an instructor at the school he just graduated, but it got him noticed by the right people.
I'm role-playing in these scenarios and people that are there who are seniors because they're trying to recruit for other cases. And that's how my name started getting out there.
So after months, there's finally this perfect four. Sure, he's a redneck with almost no foreign language skills, not suitable for many undercovers, but he doesn't need to pretend to be a hard-living misfit. He is one. He knows he'll feel at home where he's about to grow to the criminals he's been assigned to infiltrate, and how hard it will be to turn on them.
People always have their own opinion. Some people say it's acting, some people say it's lying. Essentially, this is the definition of undercover work. You betray.
On a mission, and his targets, these men, have just arrived. They're members of the Outlaws Motorcycle Club, been implicated in drug trafficking, prostitution rings, money laundering, the list goes on. And they're notorious for violence against them is exceedingly difficult. Scott Payne is here to do just that. But there's a problem. Part of the intelligence was told they wouldn't be wearing their colors. Obviously they are. Scott has hoped to strike up a casual conversation naturally, but these guys are advertising their gang affiliation. He can't just go up and say, hey, you guys come to him. Luckily, another part of the intelligence is right. This guy, road named Spanky, loves to be steals it. He works the crowd, he tells jokes, he talks loudly, he draws attention to himself. Soon enough, Spanky asks where Scott is from and sends him a drink.
Spanky's called me over, and of course I'm getting more scrutiny. The more people I meet, the more scrutinized I am.
Everything seems to be happening somewhere else.
So I walk into the bathroom, and as I'm at the urinal, in front of the urinal, plexiglass, it might be flyers for a band coming up or a stripper coming to town or something like Reflection. And I see this jacked big dude come walking in. And I see it all, and he's like, okay, that's empty. I see him looking under the stalls to make sure nobody's in there. And then he comes walking up right beside me, and for a split second, I thought, oh, I'm getting jumped. And that didn't happen. He says, so what brings you to Massachusetts?
All undercover detailed made-up backstory that they have to commit to memory. He's from deep South Texas, up in Massachusetts for work, and his name is Scott Calloway. As it so happens, the guy grilling him in the bathroom is also named Scott.
Covers, you bond with people, especially deep undercover long-term, but there's never been another person in town.
For a year and a half, Scott gets to know the Outlaws. He drinks with them, rides with them, fights. He becomes their friend. They call him Tex. Scott's legend may be a lie, but the becomes like a brother.
He likes to drink, I like to drink. He likes to fight, I like to fight. He likes to ride and lift, I like to ride. We were just kind of cut from the same cloth.
They even both have a daughter who's the exact same age. Scott Town is kind of might have become had he not gone into law enforcement. Another gang member, Brian De La Vaga, aka Close.
He said, and these guys are my brothers, and I grew up around them. He said, but I really don't have that many who would take a bullet for me, and then I would take a bullet for. And in my mind, I'm looking at his face, and I'm going, oh no. He says, you're one of those guys.
Over the course of last year, Scott has convinced the Outlaws that he's a high-ranking member of an international theft ring. It begins small, with insurance fraud and vehicle trafficking. An outlaw reports a motorcycle is stolen. He then sells the motorcycle across the border. A double win. Money from the insurance company, money from the sale, and other vehicles. But tomorrow's job is different. Some of the Outlaws will be serving as security during a major drug deal. He's revealed that he has connections with a Mexican drug cartel. No surprise, considering his line of work. And the stakes are high. If they get caught, they'll be looking at serious jail time. And if something goes wrong during the deal, so when Scott is told to meet the Outlaws at their clubhouse, he's not surprised. They probably want to go over the plan one last time. The place is familiar. He's been here countless times. He knows what's behind every door in the building, except leads him to that very door. Now he realizes that something is wrong. Scott is told to strip.
Because of the stress of this happening, I forget my middle name. I'm having an adrenaline. It can be any traumatic experience, but I'm having auditory exclusion. So one, whoosh, whoosh. So it's slow. I need you to take all your down. I'm getting time dilation in my eyes. Everything I see is in screen grabs. Click. I can feel my heart beating through my entire body. My hamstrings get rubbery. Now, it's striking me to take all my clothes off. Here's what I'll tell you. If I'm not, I'm naked in a small crawl space with two guys with pistols. Problem is,
But they don't find anything. Scott's recording equipment is not taped to his chest, but in his clothing.
And I'm starting to come back to normal, and I think I'm done. And I get my pants back up, and then Clothesline grabs a piece of clothing that I was wearing. And that piece of clothing, and I'm watching him, and he starts grabbing the clothing, and he's going through it nice and slow with his fingers. I do it, but there's an audible sigh. You can hear me go, I don't even know I'm doing it. And he looks right at it and misses it. To fight another day. I live to fight another day.
Two moving trucks enter the parking lot of the Brockton Holiday Inn. One is filled. A Mexican drug cartel is selling 40 kilograms of cocaine and 1,000 pounds of marijuana to Canadian buyers. They've arranged an American security detail, the Outlaws. Surveillance at every entrance. Protection, unload the drugs, and count the money. Everyone is armed and antsy. One false move and all hell is wrapped up quickly. The transfer is complete. All the money's there. The Outlaws are particularly relieved. First time working with a cartel. Now they'll get paid $15,000 for their services. Scott, he did it. He successfully tricked them. The cartel, FBI agents, the Canadians. 8 months later, a hotel in Nevada. Scott's been laying afar. His outlaw friends think he's going through a divorce. In reality, he's been diagnosed as overassigned, panic attack. He's been ordered to take a 6-month timeout. He's been teaching during this time. His current stressors. All the students have gone to bed, but Scott's only just returned to his hotel room. Their drug deal back in November gave the FBI all the evidence necessary to arrest and imprison multiple outlaw members. Until today, the day of the takedown. Scott doesn't think he'll hear from any of them again. It's Scott Town, and he's concerned. He's heard some arrests were made, and he wanted his friend to know about it. More information. He'll report back.
And the last words we spoke to each other were, and I said, I love you too. And that was the last words I spoke to him, and probably about 45 minutes after that, I went to jail.
In the end, 15 outlaws were arrested as a result of Operation 21 years in prison. Clothesline got 12.5 years. Scott Town, 7. The Ku Klux Klan, from the very beginning, they were racist to the core, raining terror and death on black Americans, and lynched politically active black men, raped their wives, shot their children, and burned their schools. Terrorist movement. Today, the KKK remains active, but only as a shadow of its former self. However, burning crosses is still one of their favorite things to do, and they've stayed true to their roots. Now they have to act in secrecy. You might assume that infiltrating them as an FBI agent is not the easiest feat.
So you might contact the United Klans of America. Well, it turns out the group I was looking at had a hotline.
On Jack, a Klansman whose passion for Jack Daniels earned him this nickname. Scott tells him he's got the number from a group. It's a plausible story. Scott looks the part, and his time with the outlaws taught him how to play it. Biker same circles. Jack starts talking about this rally that's coming up. Vendors, burning crosses, country music.
He said, I'm not gonna lie to you, Scott. I had a band lined up, but the singer just got locked up, and I thought, this could be my end. And I said, did I happen to mention that? I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll bring my acoustic and my PA system. When I get there, you can come meet me by the you think I suck. And he's like, oh, hell, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Scott doesn't know that he just signed up for something. April 21st, 2017. It's the day of the Ku Klux Klan rally.
I got lost until I finally drove up on this empty, lot fenced in the middle of nowhere. The Nighthawks, which would be the Klan members in all black, who were the security force. And a lot of these people were felons.
Scott's ready for an interesting time. He's been to this will be similar. During his mission, Scott will be taught the KKK's constitution and bylaws, studied to refer to as the Kloran. He'll become familiar with the original mystic insignia of the Klansmen. He'll learn this all so he can pass the K-Uno test, a prerequisite to getting fitted for a robe. K-Uno stands for character, honor. It's getting dark, and he's been invited to participate in a naturalization ceremony. He has no idea what this means. He'd stick out if he didn't. And that's how he finds himself in the middle of a field, blindfolded, holding the instrument to signify brotherhood. They're told to raise their right hands and repeat an oath.
I do swear
and then they tell us to get down on our knees.
To fostering the welfare of the white race.
Blindfolded.
And further the work of America's greatest movement.
They take my blindfold member in a green robe, and he has this sword, and he kind of knights me.
The United Klans of...
And then we all hug, and there's like a little bit of a celebration, and I'm not sure when I'm walking to my truck, I'm like, I think I just joined the damn Klan. Yep, that's what that was. So I got...
Scott's time at the KKK will end up being relatively short-lived. The case isn't really going anywhere. Focus, a far more dangerous one.
In the FBI, we started encountering more, not the KKK types, we're talking advanced neo-Nazism. And it looks accelerationist group called the Base.
The Base mission will provide to be far more extreme than any...
A violent white extremist group known as the Base.
Violent neo-Nazi terrorists.
On August 11th, 2017, University of Virginia, in Charlottesville, chanting racist and anti-Semitic slogans. They were protesting the famous Confederate general. The next day, they were met by counter-protesters, and things quickly... Then they turned deadly. A white supremacist drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters. For some, the Unite the Right rally was a wake-up call, surprising proof that white supremacy persists and a reminder, and frightening evidence that white supremacists were feeling emboldened enough to come out of the shadows. 2015, they called themselves Atomwaffen Division. They'd been inspired by the writings of the neo-Nazi James to become a sort of Bible for accelerationists. The book denies the Holocaust and attacks homosexuals and Jewish people, specifically for the formation of terror cells prepared to wage war against the system. Initially, accelerationism steadily gained traction. By 2021, roughly 90% of white nationalist groups. That same year, the U.S. Director of National Intelligence identified racially motivated violent extremists as the most, more than other white supremacist ideologies. Accelerationism insists on the importance of direct violent action they call saints. Like Saint Tarrant, for Brenton Tarrant, the Australian white supremacist who attacked 2 mosques and 1 people. Or Saint Roof, for Dylan Roof, who killed 9 people, all black, during a church service. And this is the kind of action accelerationists believe in. Action that will further destabilize society, that might finally lead. Explicit about this. Roof, for example, said he'd hope to ignite a race war. Failing that, though, the purpose is exactly what such attacks have done. Scott Payne just signed up on Facebrace's post. His goal is to get banned. But nothing happens. A fellow he adds a few people, and that does it. He's promptly kicked off. Okay, well done. Working site well known for its tolerant stance towards far-right users. He participates in forums with names like Whites Only. On July 15th, 2019, he writes an email. I've been seeing your stuff, and I'm definitely interested. I like it. The next day, a ping.
Thanks for contacting the Base. You can learn more about us on our... If you're interested in joining, please provide the following info to begin the vetting process.
Group. They were just founded a year ago, and they are accelerationists through and through. Their plan entails assassination. Their targets are black people, Jewish people, and anyone they consider traitors to the white race.
They want to murder people and disappearing. It's poisoning the water system, taking down a power grid, derailing the train.
The idea is that after the collapse, the group cells scattered across the world will form white ethno-states led by white supremacists. Societal collapse has a special name, the Boogaloo. Now, Scottish name, White Warrior 88, and his age, 44. Scott Payne is actually between 18 and 25. He wants to seem as young as possible. Sex, race, location, special training, and organization affiliations. Here, his past undercover experiences pay off.
So here I am, approximately for a week or more, I'm emailing back and forth account. And they're asking me all kinds of questions about my ethnicity, what I can bring to the table. I laid out a story that I was a old biker, shocker, and a former skinhead.
But would find out later, the owner of that email account was none other than the founder of the Base himself. Online, he's known as Norm. He's been on the public's radar since 2018, but his true identity is unknown. That is, unless Nazaro is 45, American, born in New Jersey. He'd worked as a contractor in Iraq for the Department of Justice, but it's 2019. You can organize neo-Nazis into a network of accelerationist insurgents from just about continues for less than a week. Then, Scott is invited for a phone interview. It's supposed to take 30 minutes, but both Scott and the base have a 24-hour grace period. After that, Scott will need to make the decision. Does he
test? And they bring me in, and they ask me, hey, where are you located? And I said, in East Tennessee, and they is in North Georgia.
That's where Scott will have to pass one final test, an in-person vetting session. August 2, 2019, Rome, Georgia. To Scott, the men look more like boys. Rome cell, but that's it. They tell him to step out of his truck. Scott isn't wearing a watch, but hidden in his truck is a tracking device, put there by his case team. As long as Scott to find him.
I step out, shake hands or whatever, and he says, hey, I need you to put your phone in there. Pulls out this wand thing that I'd never seen before. It looked like a Geiger counter. It had a big triangle card. He wands me, and I pass because I'm fine, I don't have anything. Then he starts wanding my truck till he starts going to the back driver's side of my truck, which is where the case team placed my track. His hand starts going crazy. The closer he gets to the back of the truck, it starts beeping and beeping. I see colors going on it. I'm like, oh no, man, it's picking up the tracker.
Scott, his team knows where he is, but they have no idea something is wrong. But he wonders if the device is picking up the power lines.
And he walks over and it goes crazy. And he's like, down power lines. Hey, follow us to another location.
Scott has to act fast. He has to get the tracker to
the case team. And I'm like, hey, you need to shut that tracker off. And at first they're like, well, we have to shut it off. And they're like, well, if we shut it off, we're not sure. What if we can't get it back on and we lose you? It's picking up the tracker. If you don't shut it off, this is going to be a very fast undercover one.
They arrive at an abandoned concrete plant.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is great. How many movies have I seen? Plant? I hope they got the tracker off. They pull out the wand, they wand me.
Scott is in. By this point, Scott's been around the block plan, but nothing could prepare him for what comes next. Scott has been with him as a boy. He loved camping with his parents and friends. He'd explore the woods, go fishing. But the camping trip he used to go on, the list of things to bring contains some unusual items. Weapons, ammunition, and the same kind worn by the German military. This is no ordinary camping trip. This is a hate camp, an extended glue, hand-to-hand combat, weapons drills, grappling. By now, Scott has attended a number. This one is different. It's longer, 3 to 4 days, and it's bigger, with base members coming in from Alabama, Michigan, Delaware. He's familiar with many of the men he'll be camping with. At least he knows most of the back. Eisen, Punish Snake, Dima, Big Siege, Zoomnat. He knows his fellow Georgia cell members, Helter Skelter and Pestilence, who vetted Scott back in August with the cell leader himself, the militant Buddhist. Everyone knows Scott by his code name, Pale Horse. When you're an undercover, Scott has learned to expect the unexpected, yet he fails to expect what would happen at the Halloween hate camp.
Pale Horse, you gotta wake up, I'm like, what's up, man, what's going on? They're like, hey, I've been doing undercover since 1996 at this point, and I've never been with a group of people, burn American flags. I damn sure wasn't part of a group that went out and stole a goat and we drank its blood. And I did all that in 3 days with these guys.
After they get together for a barbecue, they roast the goat over an open fire and have it for dinner. All of this, of course, it's impossible to know what blossomed in their brains that night, what hallucinatory horrors they saw. If they're dreams, then they dreamed of death and destruction, of killing black Americans, Jews, anti-fascists, and communists. Scott has become upsettingly familiar with these fantasies and with the beliefs that produce them. Behind each pseudonym, each young man is a darkness. The militant Buddhist's real name is Luke Lane. If the Boogaloo requires it, Pestilence is Jacob Cotterly. He believes Hitler is still alive. Michael Helterbrand, a problem, killing a commie kid. Punish Snake, a former Canadian soldier who'd been doxxed by an undercover journalist, but he knows he'll have to kill his ex-fiancée when the Boogaloo kicks off. She's half black. As he earns their trust, he records more.
And we did more and more trainings through that Saturday, but we went back down to the holy site and had a bonfire. And that's where the American flags were burned. And everybody's screaming, death to your, F your Jewish God, death to America. And training camp ended. That's when I advanced even more in them trusting me, and Pestilence started bringing me in on murder plots that they had.
Scott is back at TMP's farm, the 100-acre property where the Halloween hate camp took place, for the last few weeks trip, but he's been cagey. He doesn't want to share information via chat. Scott has convinced him. It turns out the camping trip isn't a camping trip. It's a hit job.
TMB creates a second trip, and when he was saying we're going on a camping trip, what he was saying is we're going to kill somebody.
Their target area.
It was going to be me, TMB, Pestilence, and Helter Skelter. And TMB wanted me to go with him to kill everybody, while Helter Skelter would be no cops were coming and stuff like that, or help. And then Pestilence was going to set the house on fire. At one point, Helter Skelter says, hey, if you don't mind, I'd like to pop my cherry on this one. That confused me, like, what do you mean? And he said, I would like to actually put a bullet in somebody's head as well.
After casing the house, they begin the next phase of the murder plot, planning.
It was pretty expensive site. We leave everything digital, everything phones, everything there. We go scrub ourselves. We tape our pants to our shoes, our gloves to our shirts, and facial hair. So this is all to avoid leaving DNA. For done research, and he said that he read that the first time somebody kills somebody, they loosen that we all wear adult diapers. I didn't tell him that I'd killed somebody before, but I told him I think I'm okay. I was just as shocked when I got brought in on this murder plot as most people were. But while Baltimore cell, which is Can't Go Back, and Eisen and Punish Snake, on Second Amendment gun rights rally in Virginia that they thought was going to be the kickoff of the Boogaloo, and their idea was they knew you're going to have a bunch of Second Amendment people there, militias, 3%ers. Because what if you pop a couple of rounds into that crowd, nobody knows who's shooting at who, and everybody starts shooting each other?
The team know they have to stop him, and there's no time to lose. The Pro Firearms Rally is on January 20th, 2020. They jump into action. The next weeks are a flurry of activity, meeting, coordinating, and planning.
It's a Wednesday, and I'm in Rome, Georgia, I pick up, we go to lunch, and we pull out. And as I'm driving down the road, I knew what my ruse was, but sure as you know what, the truck made some loud sound I've never heard. I didn't hit anything. Did you hear that? He's like, yeah. And I go, man, if my brake calipers are frozen again, I took a left out of his neighborhood, pre-planned by the SWAT team, and I pull up tight to a fence and check the truck. So I'm walking around the back of the truck. Another vehicle pulls up. He doesn't know who they are. And the guy says, hey man, you need any help with that? And I look up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's you. What are you? I'm like, man, I haven't seen you. And as I'm doing that, there's the distraction. Here comes a Bearcat with his hill. But Luke's looking at me, not at the car coming. And when that thing's coming, I jump up and I'm like, go, go, go. And you could hear the SWAT team giving commands. And luckily, the arrest went down.
The next morning, SWAT teams arrested Eisen, Can't Go Back, and Punish Snake.
Essentially, we kind of...
Luke Lane, aka TMB, was sentenced to 6 years in prison. William Bilbro, Eisen, 5. Patrick Matthews, Punish Snake, and Brian years. According to a recent Guardian article, the base is enjoying a resurgence. Its founder will not Pittsburgh. Scott retired in June 2021. At his retirement ceremony, attended by Friend the Eye Brass, June 30th was named Scott Payne Day.